Hello, blessed soul family. I'm the magical medium, and welcome to this spiritual guidance channel. Today's topic for our pick a reading, there are 4 readings before you, and our topic today is retrograde season. So, I was about to do a reading for the waxing GIBBOUS energy, which is the 4th phase of the moon cycle. And the energy around the waxing GIBBOUS is refine and focus. We've already set our intentions. We've already taken action on those intentions. Now, what do we need to refine and focus? So as I was focusing on that, I started to, when I looked down, it's 44. So that might mean something for some of you guys, or the number 8. 8 also means infinity. Yeah, 44. Oh, that made me think of Britney Spears. Oh, there's so many things that are happening on the planet right now, you guys. It's just a really weird, cool, like, what the fuck, awesome, but also, what? So, with that being said, the retrograde energy came to me when I started setting up the reading, and it made perfect sense to me because retrogrades are all about kind of like going back and like, refining and, focusing on like, what did you miss last time? What do you need to look at again? What keeps resurfacing? When things keep resurfacing, especially through retrograde season, that's a ding, 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 ding from spirit telling you something's cooking. You got to look at it. Like my husband lately, he's been saying like, oh my gosh, my ears are ringing, my ears are ringing, my ears are ringing. I'm like, yeah, you're leveling up, brother. I'm like, there's so much happening on the planet. There's just a lot of cool energies, but navigating them really helps, right? Yeah, you can hike down the mountain. You can go at a slow pace, or you can go down the mountain on skis really quickly, right? But if you're going down the mountain on skis, and you're going downwards, the trajectory is bringing you downward, you better know which path you're going to take. You better hope that, you're going on an open field, right? Because if you need to go through trees or, Sonny Bono, man, that's how he lost his life. He literally he skied all the time, but he just was going down too fast, and who knows what happened, but he hit a tree and died, shit like that. It's like, that's real. So I'm getting the energy from spirit that we want to hike down the mountain this time. We don't want to take the easy way down on the skis. Thank you, Sonny Bono, for the analogy. Rest your beautiful soul. I feel you. You're awesome. Oh my gosh, he's so funny. Really cool. Thanks, Sonny Bono. I love that, dude. I'm like, it's funny. I'm a healer for the healers, but I also channel celebrities too. They're just people, because they were just spirits too. We made them like these idols, these icons, but they're just, different prophets or, leaders or those who made mistakes, and they're like, learn from my mistakes. So during this retrograde season, Spirit wants us to refine and focus. Like if something's coming for you again, write it down, look in your journal, see what's going on, start journaling. You may even want to start journaling your retrograde seasons just so that you can kind of, really understand them. And now let me back up and say this is about the Mercury retrograde, but we are full on in what they call retrograde season, because as of now, as of this moment, we are less than 40 hours. When I'm doing this reading, we're less than 48 hours away from Mercury going full retrograde. I don't know about you guys, but I've been having a lot of blips, blurbs. I almost slammed my thumb in the door today. I almost took my thumb off. It was, thank you, Spirit, for anyway, just bought some chocolate, and was really excited about it because it was like on sale, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like one of my favorites, but it's kind of pricey. And I'm putting the guy, Alder, dropped me off, and then he went to work. We went shopping really early this morning, and I'm putting things away, and I'm like, where's the chocolate? Where's the chocolate? I'm looking everywhere, and I text him, and I'm like, hey man, I'm like, is the chocolate in the car? Because I thought I heard one of the bags kind of fly over when we were going around a bend. And long story short, he goes, yeah, they're in the car. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, please, please find a cool, dry, because he's a mechanic and he works outside. So if he's somewhere where the car is in full sun, I'm like, those candy bars are gonna be trash. And it's just a candy bar. You know what I mean? It's gonna survive. But it would be probably gross, or it might ruin, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's not the end of the world. But skiing down a slope and hitting a fucking tree is the end, So this is the measure twice, cut once energy, because Mercury is the planet that's closest to the Earth. And so that is why we pay more attention to Mercury retrograde. Plus, Mercury goes into retrograde 4 times a year, I don't know if you'd call it a series, if you will, And so when we have the retrograde, they last about 3 weeks, but we have the shadow before and the shadow after. But right now, what's happening is when Mercury goes full retrograde in 48 hours, the only planets that will not be in retrograde will be Venus and Mars. But in the time that Mercury goes retrograde, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, although some people say Pluto is not a planet anymore, it's still considered in our solar system. It does affect us, even though it doesn't matter where they are, the placement of the planets, or when they go retrograde, because not all of them go retrograde as commonly as Mercury, right? So, in my experience, right? I'm not, please, you guys know I'm not an astrologer. I do my research and take notes just like, everybody else. In fact, I'm going to leave a link below. Always look in the description box, not just for the link to your reading, but also look in the link below to any type of research or recommendations from Spirit, okay? Right now, for the month of September, right now we are in Virgo season, but in the month of September, we have been getting the mantra from Spirit to be an observer, which when you're an observer, you're going slow, right? Like you're paying attention to what's happening. You're being an observer. And Spirit strategically had me place these readings like this. And I didn't realize till I pulled it together how pretty it was with like the colors and the lighting and whatever. It's really neat. Like there's a lot of cool stuff going on right now. But even the weather, like when I called in the spirits, you guys, when I called them in and called for protection and all these things, it was like this gust of wind went through my house. Oh, I'm getting the chills right now. You guys getting the chills? And also I called to the healing energies of the universe. So if you would like to accept these healing energies, all you have to say is, I accept these healing energies. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Lula, Tallulah, whatever you call me by, the magical medium. You can call me whatever you want. Eminem. Magical medium. You're a cute Spirit. Well, that'd be magical and medium, but I guess I am. Anyway, I digress. So Mercury is going to be retrograde from September 9th until, I should say Mercury is going to be retrograde in Libra from September 9th until September 23rd, when it will go then it'll be in Virgo until October 2nd, okay? Then the next one we have is Jupiter. So Jupiter's actually going to go, Jupiter's actually going to be in retrograde until the end of November. So that's going to be there for a minute. But it's in Aries right now. Saturn, and I'm calling these things out, like you can look up cafeastrology.com and moongiant.com. I should just always leave them in the description box below. That might be something I will continue doing, because cafeastrology.com gives you your full chart and you can see where your signs are. And when you know certain things about yourself, when you can really start to understand, even me, I mean, I've been doing this for how long? I know the big ones, the essentials, but whenever something's really wonky or hairy and I go and investigate it, I'm like, sure shit, yep, it's because my blah blah blah's in this, and this is happening right now, and this planet, there's a reason for it. And that's why the planets are always shifting and changing. That's because we each have our own little biological blueprint, right? And a soul blueprint of how we're going to navigate our way through our existence here on Earth as human doings. So, as the dragons say. So when you hear things like signs or things like that, pay attention to that, because, it could mean something for each of you. That's why I'm calling it out, okay? So then Saturn is in retrograde in Aquarius until October 23rd. Uranus is in retrograde in Taurus. Well, that's going to be there for a minute till next year. So, but definitely, so there's that. Then we've got Neptune in Pisces. And then June through December. And then we have Pluto is in retrograde in Capricorn until the 8th of October. So basically, the reason why they're calling this retrograde season is because all of these that I just told you, all these other planets that are in retrograde will all be in retrograde at the same time that Mercury will be in retrograde, and Mercury won't go direct until October 2nd. And then the next planet that's going to go direct after that is Pluto, then Saturn, and then, and then everything's, it's just certain planets, because of their rulers and their energies, have more of an effect on us. Like today I was doing some research, and for those of you who want to just go down to your readings, I always say, it's like left to right. So we have reading 1, Spirit of Air, reading 2, Spirit of Earth, reading 3, Eagle Medicine, and reading 4, Spirit Keeper of the North. And you could just go down. If you don't want to, if you know all this, you probably know more than me, you know what I mean? Astrology, whatever, you just go straight to your reading. For those of you who are, still more novices in astrology like myself, then, feel free to stick around. I'm just going to tell you a few things that I learned today. So we know that the sun is a star, and it rules our ego, our creativity, and our vitality. The moon rules our emotions, the tides, right? The tides of the earth, water. The moon affects water. The sun is fire, right? So moon is our emotions, our senses, intuition, instinct, and the unconscious. Mercury is communication, intellect, information, internal dialogue, analyzation, right? And it does affect us because it's the closest to the earth. Then we have Venus, which is love, relationships, pleasure, self-worth, finances, value, beauty, and harmony. Mars, which is war. And actually, please go and check out the link below for this astrologer. I can't remember their name now, but they had it was a really great article that Spirit led me to about retrogrades and the planets and stuff, and I think you'd really enjoy it. Anyway, so if you're into this, check it out. So Mars is about our physical energy. It's fiery, it's our sex, but also Mars is, it's the planet of war. So it's also the planet that gets shit done, Spirit said. How funny. Jupiter is about, and Jupiter's the biggest planet, and it's about luck, faith, belief, fate, philosophy, and adventure. Saturn is structure, purpose, identity, challenges, perceived limitations, authority figures, commitment, responsibility, and hard work. It's also, the Saturn return. They talk about that in your 20s. If you're interested in that in your 20s, research the Saturn return. Then we have Uranus, which is about innovation, science. It's the last planet. It's like the last one that was ever discovered, actually. In 1781, I think it said in the article. I forgot to write it down. But anyway, so Uranus is about innovation, science, technology, change, and evolution. And then Neptune is about inspiration, ideas, dreams, oneness with the universe, truth versus illusion, the mystical. I can't even read my own writing. Mystical and sad. I can't read my own writing, but mystical. So we'll leave it there. And then Pluto is about rebirth, regenerative energy of the body. It's about death and the unconscious. And if we really want to get into it, for those of you who are curious about the signs, because I have that too, is so Aries is ruled by Mars, Taurus is by Venus, Gemini, Mercury, Cancer, the Moon, Leo, the Sun, Virgo, Mercury, Libra, Venus, Scorpio, Mars and Pluto, Sagittarius, Jupiter, Capricorn, Saturn, Aquarius, Saturn and Uranus, and Pisces, Jupiter and Neptune. Now, I took that from a really old book. I don't always see the two of those. So you research that on your own, because I wrote this one down a really long time ago out of this one of my books that I have that's in storage. So anyway, it's really, when you think about it, it's really, really amazing. And even in this one, I think it's interesting, after we were just did the new moon reading about our, you know, our elemental signs. So interesting that we're in a completely different deck and we're revisiting that again. So if you're drawn to the spirit of air because you're an air sign, then, you know, have at it. And if you don't know, the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. It's also swords in the tarot. Raphael is the archangel of air and also healing. It's also the energy of summer. So if that means anything to you. And then the spirit of earth is the earth signs, which are Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. That's ruled by Pentacles in the tarot. Uriel is the archangel of earth, of north energy, of grounding. It's also, Uriel is also Aquarius, and it's winter. That's winter energy. And then the eagle medicine, of course. And then we have the spirit keeper of the north, which is really interesting because the spirit of earth is the north energy. So now you have the spirit keeper of the north. I'm sorry for my Game of Thrones fans. Every time I see spirit keeper of the north, I'm just like, winter is coming. Like, I just can't help it. This whole reading just feels, this is the Native American spirit, Native American. This is the Native Spirit deck by Denise Lynn. So if you're curious, there are actually more cards behind each one as well. And I believe right now that this is the only deck that we're going to use. Spirit may draw me to pull other decks for clarifiers, but this is the energy that Spirit wants you to work with during retrograde season. 6 planets will be in retrograde for the next 3 weeks. So, you know, mind your medicine, you know, like that's what I'm getting from the spirits, from the Native American energy, is like, I can't, that's a second, there's something there, because I don't, you guys know I don't say it like that. I'll say indigenous more than that. So that's interesting. Oh, yeah, right? Like, it's like they're like talking to me. It's like even my rings today, like, I mean, I wear these all the time, but still, this one, the turquoise, and I think it's malachite. I always forget what's in the other one. That one was actually handmade from the Uni tribe. It's a vintage one. It's really special. Actually, all 3 of my rings were blessed to me and my husband from a really powerful witch named Marianne. Hi, Marianne, if you watch these. I miss her so much. I love her so much. Anyway, so these are the readings before you. This is what we're going to be talking about. And the refine and focus energy will be whatever you need to hear. And maybe you're drawn to all of them. Maybe, you know, and you'll know if it doesn't, don't apply it to your story if it's not your story. You know, like that's so important for you guys to really just truly be yourselves and be who you are. It's so vitally important for you to do that. So if you're listening to a reading, but you're like, you know, no, we're actually good right now. Don't go like, you know, sending turmoil into your relationships or into, you know, people. I feel like this fire wants to come in more. I'm like, I can't bring you in more unless I move the camera. And maybe you guys needed a different vantage point of it. I don't know. Maybe from the crystals, right? Because also this is quartz crystal. This was given to me by a magical little fairy witch, a child, beautiful. I don't remember where I got that one, but it was this summer for sure. These 2, you know, I've been so many places. I've been so many places in my life and time. Anyway, so that's it. That's basically what these are going to be based on, and we will go into further detail in each of your readings. Just remember, go slow, take it easy. I don't care where you live in the earth. I don't care in or on the earth. Get grounded, stay grounded. Maybe they were saying in the earth, you know, maybe some of you need to like connect, get your shoes and socks off and connect, get grounded. I'll try and find that grounding. If you guys remember, those of you who know, I've been preaching this for a long time, ever since I seen it many moons ago. But it's a documentary about getting grounded and taking your shoes and your socks off and getting really grounded in the earth, even when it's winter. And I can tell you from my own little hobbit adventures that there have been times where I've been forced to take my shoes and socks off when I'm hiking, when it's cold. And I'm telling you, like, you feel it for like a few minutes, but if you're moving, you don't feel it. So like maybe do yoga outside or something, and outside in the grass, even when it's cold, but it's like, you'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. I'm telling you, especially if it's dirt. If you're more, the grass is a little harder. I get that. But, you know, like I just started walking through and I was walking on moss. I know I live in a magical place in the Pacific Northwest, but it was like all mossy and beautiful. And I don't know, at the end I said, I think I hiked 40 minutes like that with my shoes and socks off. And it was really cool to be that connected to the earth. And I watched where I was going. Obviously, I was really careful, you know, not to step on something and hurt myself. So be mindful. But, you know, even if it's just sitting under your favorite tree this fall and watching the leaves change, just get really, really, really grounded. You know, we've got some time before, you know, now, today in real time is September 7th. So from now until at least, you know, the third week in October, like October 23rd, just go slow, go slow. And if people are forcing you, be like, I'm going at my own pace. You know, we're all starting to realize that we need to go at our own pace. This is your life. This is your story. Okay. So I'll see you over there. Until next time, take really good care of yourselves and each other. And I'll see you over at your reading. Blessed be. Oh.